Hi, I'm Hazel. It's Saturday today, which makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I have been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week is a patch week. We have patch 10.0.7 coming out this upcoming Tuesday, March the 21st. And if I was going to summarize it in one big deep breath sentence, I would say new zone, kind of, Forbidden Reach. New ring to get with customizable effects that should be pretty good. Easy to get BOA gear tokens for alt catch-up. Didn't take all that much air. There is more, but those are the big things that come to mind. The alt catch-up in particular is pretty strong. You get these BOA gear tokens pretty easy. You can send them to your alts. They get learned at 385 item level, and then you can upgrade them to 395. They are catalyst eligible, so you can just send your alts a bunch of tokens that you got while out doing rares, and then have your alt via the catalyst catch-up charges just have tier, which is pretty cool. So it's not 10.1 with a new raid and everything, but it is a great patch for alt catch-up. Patch week means that we are about to get human and orc heritage armor, so here is a quick refresher. This is what it looks like, and if you would like to earn this, you need a human or an orc character respectively, level 50 plus, 50, and then exalted with either Orgrimmar or Stormwind. If it's the rep you're missing, I would say stop by the Quartermaster in town. They're not far from the Flight Masters, and pick up either a Stormwind or Orgrimmar tabard, and then go do old dungeons. BC dungeons in particular give a good amount of rep, and the Mechanar is a favorite for running for that kind of thing. You can get quite a bit of rep in a short amount of time wearing a tabard running those old dungeons. Speaking of old content, an exciting update for anybody that has been wanting to fly in BFA content. BFA Pathfinder will no longer be required to fly in BFA zones, starting not in 10.1, but in 10.0.7, so in this upcoming patch that we're getting with this next reset. Like last time, the Pathfinder achievement itself will still be available, so if you want to work on the Wonder Wing mount, the achievement is not going away, but you will not need that achievement in order to fly. Things to do with your newfound power to fly in BFA include farming for cosmetics. BFA was a fantastic expansion for mounts in particular. You can go look for some alpacas or llamas. And don't forget, not only will you be able to fly in the Continental Kultiris in Zandalar, but also in Mechagon and Nazjatar. Goody. There's lots of stuff to get out there. Other news this week, we have patch 10.1 PTR now, and data mining has been well underway. The most exciting things that I saw come up from Wowhead's data mining this week was this dragon riding armor set featuring goggles. We don't know exactly how we'll get that in 10.1, but it's a pretty safe bet that dragon riding will be involved. And then I gotta show you the vicious war snail. This is something that you will be able to work on in rated solo shuffle if finding groups is the part of PvP that you do not like. It is very pointy. It reminds me of Malaysian trumpet snails, which are included in some people's freshwater aquariums because they help aerate the substrate as they tunnel through it, although they are live-bearing snail. So snails will make more snails, depending on the level of food available in the tank. Other topics of the week, there have been a lot of rumors flying around about whether or not Drakthir might get a tank spec. There's also been a number of interviews with developers this past week because of 10.1. In a group interview, Ian indicated that it is possible down the line that Drakthir might get access to more classes. So not an Evoker tank spec necessarily, but Drakthir being able to do something like be a warrior or, a mage, that kind of thing. Just adding warriors alone to them would let them tank, which I think would make a lot of people happy. Not like a planned thing for 10.1, but something that they didn't sound like they were wildly against, I would say. And then there was a rumor about not a Drakthir, but an Evoker tank spec being data mined. And it appears to be a quest that was data mined that refers to a discovered new spec. This looks promising for sure, but I'm not getting my hopes up. I would take this with a grain of salt. There was an interview where devs were asked about a Evoker tank spec, and they kind of seemed to shoot it down. I think it's possible that it's coming, but I wouldn't go as far as to say I'd be expecting it. Other things going on. In my week, I snuck into the first round of raid testing. We have now seen 4 bosses out of Aberrus. So far from those first 4 bosses that I saw, I will say that it kind of follows the feel that I got from Vault of the Incarnates boss fights, where instead of having just a ton of mechanics, it's not as many mechanics, but more impactful ones that kind of build towards the feel and theme of the fight. So, you know, in Vault of the Incarnates, you're not just fighting another boss, you're fighting the ice spider, and you're sliding around on the ice, and you're dropping spider webs, and you're running up the stairs as it ascends through this tower. And the mechanics were challenges, but they were also building towards the fantasy of the fight. And I would say that same kind of thing is realized pretty well in the fights that I've seen so far in Aberrus. So I'm happy about that. It makes them easier to understand. I feel like a little bit easier to learn. And then also just a little bit more game fantasy while you're raiding, as opposed to just, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's soak mechanics. There's always soak mechanics, but they feel like they make sense in the fight. Hey. And that's been the week. Thank you for watching. If you have a question for me for a news video, please pop it in the comments and include the word question to help me find it. Appreciate you guys. Happy patch week and have a wonderful, wonderful day.